Hello everyone, hope all is well and welcome back. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving a bunch of products another chance. All of the products I picked out today are ones that I didn't super love upon first use. So I just wanted to give them all another go. So before we get into it, I would love for you to subscribe if you aren't already. It would mean so much to me, and let's get to it. So the first one kind of came to me as a shock, and this is a new primer by Guerlain, and it is the L'Essentiel primer that they just came out with to pair with the Guerlain L'Essentiel foundation, which you guys know I absolutely love. The first time I used this, I actually applied it back to back because the first time it super pilled on me, and then I just wiped it off and then I tried it on bare skin. So I'm gonna try it again today, and I also am not a fan of the packaging. I wish they kind of stuck to the pump instead of this kind of dropper thing, because the bottle's on an angle, so it's really hard to like get it dead in the center and then product leaks on the side. I just don't like that. You just have to be very like conscious of what you're doing, and sometimes when I'm doing my makeup I need to be a little bit quicker. I do have some moisturizer and eye cream down already. These are the ones I used today, the Tatcha water cream and the Silk Peony eye cream. I'm just convinced that this is just a tiny version of a thicker moisturizer. It doesn't really do much for me, but I'm still trying it out. But I think maybe what happened the first time I tried this primer, maybe my brush had a little bit of another foundation on it still, and maybe that's what caused the pilling. So I'm gonna try this again. I'm hopeful. This one is a pore minimizer and a shine control primer, which isn't my preference in primers anyways. I usually like something very hydrating or something that's a little bit more glowy. So I'm just gonna focus this in the center where I do have kind of more visible pores, and then I'm gonna feather the rest to the outskirts of my face. The texture of this primer on bare skin just kind of feels like a moisturizer, which is kind of fun for a pore and shine control primer. It doesn't make my skin feel like the Sahara Desert, like it still feels moisturized, but it does have like shine control properties. I just look like I have really nice balanced skin. So I am going to be pairing it with the Guerlain L'Essentiel foundation just because I feel like that makes the most sense. So I'm taking the shade 02W, and I did wash my foundation brush. This is the Royal Langnickel Complexion brush. It's looking good so far. There's absolutely no pilling. The first time I tried this, it just like completely turned into little balls all around my jaw area, like all in this area, and same on my forehead. But I'm not getting that at all, and I'm really buffing this into the skin just to really test it. So I'm just guessing it's whatever I had in my brush. I'm just gonna take my sponge and just really work this product into my skin so I get a really natural finish. I'm really happy I gave this another shot. It actually looks really nice. It gives like a really nice natural finish. I love this foundation so much. It's so beautiful and so seamless. It just looks like skin. I'll give you a good close-up of what everything looks like. But as always, I don't use any skin smoothing filters or anything on my videos, so you can really see how things are looking on my skin. And I do have an oily combination skin. I have more of an oily center of my face, and on the outskirts a little bit more normal. But this is looking very beautiful right now. I'm really happy I gave this another go. I'm very pleasantly surprised. I was so disappointed in this the first time I tried it. I wiped off my foundation twice just to really try to make this work for me. But today it seems to have done a complete 180. Still not a fan of the dropper situation, but if it's a nice primer, I can work around it. Next, for my concealer, I picked the Forever Skin Correct from Dior. I tried this once and it was really texture enhancing and made my under eyes look super dry. That one's 2N, and I feel like that one's a little bit dark. And this one is 0.5N. And yeah, that seems like a good color. I love the doe foot applicator because it's nice and big and it holds a lot of product on there, so it feels really nice and gentle. I'm just going to blend with my sponge like I always do. I tried this concealer in a first impressions last month, and that's the only time I tried it out. I really like the other Dior base products, so I was a little bit sad when this one didn't turn out nice. It really brings out like fine wrinkles I have over here that I usually don't look like I have. When it sets, it seems to like really grab onto your skin and bring it in like a raisin. So I don't know. I don't think this is a good concealer for me. I kind of want to see what it looks like for the rest of the face. Maybe this would be like a good spot concealing one, but I wouldn't want to buy a separate concealer that would just be good for spots concealing. I prefer one that would be like a one and done. It does the same on my skin, like right here, it looks super textured. I'm gonna see how it sets and settles. I'm not very confident in this concealer. Oh, hello Steve, when did you get in here? Here's a close-up of that concealer. Hopefully you can see how it grabs onto like everything, and it seems to be a super creaser. Like I've only had this on for like a few minutes and it's already like settling in every single little line. It just looks very cakey. I don't think this is a concealer for me. So for my powder, I'm going to be trying out the Dermablend Professional Loose Setting Powder, and I have the shade Original. I remember trying this once and I completely forgot about it. So I'm gonna give this another go. I'm just going to kind of even out the concealer under my eyes. Hopefully this powder will be able to like lock that down and stop the creasing. I'm going to take a little bit on my sponge and focus it in this area right here. It kind of only set right here because I'm going to be applying eyeshadow, which is going to like technically set this area right here. I like how shadows perform better on kind of like a cream base, just so that they kind of stick down more and become a little bit more pigmented. So that's why I never really set in this area over here. But here was just a little bit too intense. Eyeshadow would not be able to like stop that from happening. And I don't have any eyebrow products that I was disappointed in. So I'm just gonna go quickly apply my brows and I will be right back. Okay, brows are on, and I'm going to be applying a little bit more of this powder just because I want to see the finish a little bit on the forehead and on the chin. So I'm just going to take whatever's left on the cap and I'm just going to kind of lightly set my forehead, my chin. I'm going to skip away from these areas right here just because I remembered I'm going to be using a cream blush, but I'm just going to be setting my forehead and my chin a little bit. It kind of lets a glow still shine from within a little bit. You can really tell on my forehead here, but it has like a really nice blurring effect to it, but it still has like a natural finish. Let's see how this looks under the eye. That really smoothened out the under eyes nicely. I'm gonna give you another big zoom in so you can kind of see what I mean, but it just kind of smoothened and flattened everything out, and it looks like the concealer's not gonna really crease, but it kind of took away the cakiness and the super dryness of that concealer away, which is ideal. I forgot to pin my hair back. So now I'm going to go into some bronzer. This is the Coconut Beach bronzer from ColourPop. This was launched with the Going Coconuts palette. That whole coconut collection was super cute. I did try this out more than once. I did super love the color, so I just want to revisit it. The thing that I really disliked about this one is how powdery it is. Like once you dip in your brush, the amount of kickback that comes out of the pan is ridiculous. It's so weird though, because like touching it in the pan feels like the most luxurious, beautiful, buttery bronzer ever. But once you put your brush in it, it's the worst powdery disaster ever. And I've heard a lot of weird things with this bronzer. When I talked about it in my Going Coconuts video, I mentioned the kickback and a lot of people were like, I can't pick up any product out of it at all. So I think there was some inconsistencies in the production of this bronzer. I'm going to show you what I mean when I take some out of this. I dip nicely and see all that? I just dipped so lightly and that's how much kickback comes out of there. It's crazy. So I'm just gonna kind of tap off my brush because it picks up way too much product. It's not a high quality bronzer whatsoever. I do see that it's kind of becoming a little bit patchy, and you guys know how many powder bronzers don't patch up on me, even though I don't set in these areas over here. The color is absolutely fantastic. I love this color. I like how it's not very orange pulling. It's a little bit more yellow based, so it's a little bit more flattering for my skin tone, but it's just a little bit of a struggle to work with. I did make it work. The patchiness seems to be gone. You just really have to focus on blending. I lowered my lighting so you can hopefully see how the products kind of perform a little bit better. I honestly don't see myself using it too much because of the powderiness and the mess it creates. I don't know. This one kind of breaks my heart because the color is just so fantastic. Next up for my highlighter, I'm going to be going in with the Flower Beauty Glow Getter Liquid Illuminizer. When I first did my full face using Flower Beauty, I was really impressed with this liquid highlighter. I think the reason why I never picked it out of my collection again is because it does this weird separating thing, that all the gold pigment just separates and it just looks kind of unpleasant. I just truly think that this shouldn't happen with liquid illuminizers because there's so many great affordable ones as well as high-end ones that just never do this. So I think that's what kind of kept me away from this. So you just really have to shake this like crazy. Flower Beauty is a brand that I don't understand just because they discontinue their best products all the time, I feel like. Like in my recent favorite blush video, if you haven't watched that, I'll link it right here. I mentioned how much I love the Flower Beauty blush bombs, and apparently they're discontinuing them from a bunch of the comments that you guys left. And if they are, I'm gonna be truly so upset because they discontinued the Bubble Brow, which was one of my favorite brow products of all time. And I went through a little bit of a scare a few months back when there was only a few shades of the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Foundation left on Ulta and a few other websites. I find that everything I love from her just disappears. She makes my trust issues really shine. Okay, so I mixed it all up. It kind of looks all one again, except for the bottom. It's a very beautiful golden-y shade. Like, it's so stunning and beautiful and reflective. That is a truly beautiful liquid illuminizer. I did build it up just because I wanted to see how it worked if I could build it up, and it's beautiful. I do see a few random glitter specks, which I don't remember that being there. So maybe there is glitter, or maybe I touched something. It's like green. I don't think there's any green glitter in here. I feel like I touched something. But that is beautiful. It doesn't enhance any of my texture or anything. I just really wish it didn't look so weird in the bottle. For my blush, I'm going to be retrying the ColourPop blush sticks in the shade Under Pressure. This got a little bit patchy on me. I'm going to be applying it with a brush. I don't remember if I applied it with my finger or brush in that video. Let me go check quickly. Okay, so I actually tried it out in my last full face using affordable makeup, and I did apply it directly with the stick first, then blended it out with this brush right here, which I didn't like because I think it picked up product when I applied it directly to my cheeks. So I'm thinking of just picking some up with the brush first and then feathering it on. So I'm gonna see how that works out for me today. But the color, of course, is a beautiful coral peach tone, which are my favorites. It is getting a little bit patchy right here. I don't know. I'm just going to start stamping because I am noticing it picking up a little bit of my foundation right here. Now I just applied way too much blush, but you know, what's new? So I'm just gonna take my sponge in this area right here. Hopefully it's gonna pick up that excess and kind of even everything out. I don't really think I like these because I find them to be quite finicky. I feel like a lot of like tube cream blushes like these I don't struggle with them this much. I can apply them directly onto the cheeks and use a brush or a finger to blend them out, and they don't cause all of these issues. It just does these weird blotchy spots that I don't think looks cute. I think if it's still gonna remain in my collection, I would always pick out my Nude Sticks ones or any of my other cream blushes way over this one. I feel like this one is just gonna sit and rot in my collection. For my eyeshadow palette, I picked out the House Labs Glam Room one. I've used this once so far, and that was in my House Laboratories review video. Oh my gosh, I have like cat hair on my nose or something. It's so itchy. I only tried the mattes out of this palette. I haven't tried the shimmers, so that's why I pulled out this palette again just to try it out. So I'm just going to quickly prime my eyes with some of the ColourPop Pretty Fresh concealer. Okay, so I'm first gonna be dipping into this transition shade right here, and I'm just gonna be applying this to the crease. I'm gonna just do a very simple eye look today. I don't wanna do anything so crazy. So I'm just gonna be applying this in the crease with the Melt 818. Our formula is really nice. It builds up beautifully. It just builds up to this weird warm shade that kind of doesn't look the most high quality to me, in my opinion. I feel like the palettes that I've tried that weren't the most high quality always turn to this really weird orangey shade that I really dislike. It just really dulls the appearance of my eyelids, I think. That's just my personal opinion anyways. Then I'm going to blend the deeper brown right here and just kind of define the outer V with this blank canvas E10 brush. I think first I'm gonna apply this brown right here, which is called Scotch. And I'm just going to apply that with my finger like I like to do with most of my shimmers. And I'm just going to apply that to the first half. Okay, that's actually a very nice shimmer formula. I went on full opacity. It's just not the most shimmery. It's like just kind of like a satin. And then I'm going to take this shade right here called Applause, the one that's like green and then pink, then gold. And I'm going to apply that in the center. Oh, that looks actually really cool. It's kind of like a fun duochrome shade. I'm going to take that deeper matte brown shade and just kind of finish off the lower lash line with this. I'm going to take some of the black just to deepen up the outer corner slightly. This black formula is actually pretty nice. It's a little bit more of like a creamy, it's not like a direct cream formula. It has like a little bit of a tack to it so it doesn't fall out on my cheeks. I think the two shades that I've tried out today that I really like is this inner corner shimmer shade and this black. I'm just going to bring the slightest amount of this black into the areas where I find looks a little bit off. And hopefully that just kind of masks everything and covers it all. I'm just gonna stop there with the eyes. For my mascara, I pulled out the Charlotte Tilbury Full Fat Lashes in the shade Glossy Black. I remember this was like a barely there type vibe. And for this mascara to be named Full Fat Lashes, I was a little bit like, where's that effect? Who knows, maybe this mascara kind of dried out a little bit and got to its sweet spot. I'm hoping that this is one of those mascaras that like gets better with age. It's looking like it is actually. Like this actually looks a lot better than I remember. That actually looks very beautiful. I'm also gonna apply one coat of that to my lower lashes. Ooh, I feel like this one really got nice with a little bit of time. I like the volume it gives. And it's a really nice and easy formula to apply. It's not clumping or anything, and I'm applying a lot of layers. I think I actually really like this now. I classically got a little bit there, but I'm gonna let it dry out. But I'm going to now move on to the lips and then we're finished. Okay, so now this little mascara smudge should be dry by now. So when these things happen, I just take a little spoolie and I just brush it away. For my lips, I picked out this Lila B lip oil, and this is the one in the shade Be Romantic. They recently launched 3 more shades. The reason why I picked this one out, because I think the shade was a little bit too pale for me, and I don't know if you saw the big gloop that just fell out. The other thing I don't really love is the doe foot applicator, just because it picks up like an uneven amount of the product. It leaves like a big gloop of it at the top, and then on the sides it's like a clean doe foot. So when you're applying it to your lips, it almost feels like you're rubbing a dry doe foot on your lips. So I am going to be trying out one of the new ones. Maybe they switch things up. I'm very hopeful because I love lip oils. I love how hydrating they are. So they recently launched 3 new shades. One's like a gray mauve shade. This is the shade Be Sincere. And this one's kind of like a beigey peachy shade, and that's the shade Be Brilliant. And the last one is Be Bold, which is the one I'm going to be using today because I feel like it will look good with the tones I used on my eyes. So I'm just gonna zoom you guys in a little bit. I don't know why I zoomed you guys out so much. It looks like it still has the same problem. You'll be able to see it a lot better on this one, but see how it's like a clean doe foot applicator and then a glob at the top. So I don't really love that. I gotta be honest. It applies the glob first. I guess it stops from you applying way too much of the product. This shade is fantastic. I really love that color. And I love the opacity of it as well, because all the other lip oils that I've previously tried out, like the Dior ones, those are super sheer. So it is nice once you work it onto the lips. I just don't really love the first feeling of when you're applying that glob, but once you're like spreading it out and it kind of evens out on the applicator, it's really nice. And I really like this shade. I really think the formula and the shade isn't worth it to me. Personally, I think this is just so beautiful and the effect is like so stunning. I really love that. That is a beautiful beautiful lip product. I would just wish it had a different doe foot applicator. Okay, so here is the final look. I think it turned out quite nice, but now let's get into my final thoughts about everything. So I'm gonna first start off with the positives and the things that I was impressed in. Starting off with the primer, I'm so glad that it didn't pill up on me, and I'm excited to try this out with other foundations to really test it, but I'm so happy that it did not pill, and I think it looks absolutely stunning. My skin looks nicely blurred, makes my skin look very nice and natural with the foundation on top, because it is like a natural glow foundation, so it does have that vibe, but it's not greasy or anything like that. It just looks very healthy. So I'm very optimistic about this primer right now. I think you will definitely be seeing me use this again in the near future. I'm really happy that I gave this a second go. Next, for the powder, I'm actually really excited about this because it looks really great under the eyes as well as on the rest of my face where I put it. I like how it doesn't look super matte. If you are a person who loves super matte powders, this isn't the one for you, but it has the qualities that I love so much in the Milk Blur set, that it just kind of blurs and it lightly sets everything, but it still lets your radiance shine through. So I think I will definitely be using this powder again. I'm excited to see how it wears a little bit more. So I'm happy I gave that another go as well. Then I'm really excited about the mascara. I think the finish turned out beautiful. It's definitely one of those that gets better with time. I feel like that goes for a lot of mascaras. I'm pleasantly surprised about this one because going into this video, I had very low, super low expectations about this one. It blew those expectations out of the water. I like how voluminizing and lengthening and defining it is without getting clumpy. And lastly, for the Lila B lip oils, I'm really excited about it. I can't stop looking at my lips. I think that's my favorite aspect of my whole look today. It just makes my lips look so juicy and a little bit more plump, but it has such a nice thin consistency. It doesn't feel like I'm wearing anything. It just feels like I'm wearing like a really nice lip balm. That's a huge plus for me. It feels really luxurious. I just really don't like the doe foot applicator, sadly, but that doesn't stop me from loving the quality and effect of the actual product. And now let's get into the products that I don't really see myself using anymore. First, starting off with the Dior concealer. I really didn't like how much it grabbed onto my skin texture. It just really dehydrates everything and just sucks everything out and just makes everything look a little cakey. Yeah, like in this area right here, usually it looks a little bit more smooth. I don't like how it doesn't have any luminosity to it. I don't think it looks like a healthy concealer, so this one is a no-go for me, sadly. Next, with the bronzer, I love the color, but that's it. I don't like how I have to really struggle. It's a very fussy bronzer. I don't like how much kickback there is. I think it's very faulty, and it's too bad because the color is so amazing. But yeah, it's a no-go for me either. Next, for the highlighter from Flower Beauty, the more it was on, it kind of just looks average. I feel like I have a lot of highlighters in my collection that gives a similar effect to it, but it doesn't do this weird separating thing that you have to shake up forever to get rid of. I just don't think it's worth it to me. Next, for the ColourPop blush, I'm sad to say that I don't see myself really reaching for this anytime soon. I might try this out one more time, blending it out with my finger, but with that's still a little bit fussy for me. I feel like all the other cream blushes I can use with a finger or a brush with no issues whatsoever. This just is a little bit more fussy to apply, kind of ends up patchy. Not my fave. And lastly, the House Labs eyeshadow palette. I don't like this. The only shades I liked were the inner corner highlight and the shimmer I used on the inner corner portion right here, but that does not make this palette worth it for just those two shades. I think the mattes blended out beautifully, but it just turns that weird cheap orange shade that I really dislike in most low quality eyeshadows I've tried out. I don't see myself using this palette ever again, and I would not recommend it. That is all from me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video and found it helpful, and hopefully not too negative. But if you liked it, please give it a huge thumbs up. It'll help me out so much. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Love you. Bye!